Evening, peeps. Evening. How we all doing? I've got to give a little finals night tonight, people, but it's going to be a dirty one. We're at Spa. It is chucking it down here. I'm not sure if qualifying is going to be wet, but I've heard that race one, you may as well be bringing wetsuits for the finals here. So we've got two races for you guys tonight. We've got the short sprint race, which is 9 laps, and then we jump into the second race, which is a reverse grid, and that's a few more laps and slightly different strategies laid out in that one. So we are at Spa for the finals, round 10 here of the Team Oliver Racing GT3 League, hosted by Mature Racing Club. We've got two lobbies open. We've got the pros you're watching with me, and then we've got the pro-ams over there on Facebook with D. Racing or D.90. So if you're looking for the pro-ams, go and find him, tell him I sent you, etc, etc. So yes, the finals night tonight from Spa. 2 races, disgusting weather, absolutely chucking it down. We'll come and have a look at that in a second, but we are very close still in the final round tonight. So Gecko Racer still leads the championship, but 366 points over Philo's second place of 352 points. So very close, could swap positions. There's still opportunity for Potter, is there? No. No, because if Philo and Gecko score, then that's them ahead anyway. So Potter's on 314 in third. Ace Killer is in fourth. He's got himself 248 points. DIA 3SP Mark 5th. He's got 197 points. Brinky's quite close to him. He's 6th. 178 points on the board for him. We've got Oni Kaijin in 7th with 166 points. Fat Pickles Bro in 8th with 131 points. We've got I'm Frosty 9th with 115 points. 2 drivers on 100 points. We've got DDR IT 43 and Ridders, so 10th and 11th, or joint 10th, both on 100 points. I don't think we're seeing IT 43 tonight, unfortunately, for the finals. So no battle for those two to have tonight for final points and positions. Millerman in 12th, he's got himself 80 points on the board. Savage, many numbers, unfortunately not racing either. I know he's missing the league, so big shout out to you, Savage. 31 points on the board. He only managed to jump in for a few rounds, but yeah, did well and wants to come back, but can't at the minute. Rubinho in 14th. I don't think we've seen Rubinho, NVR Frozen, Hattelad or Britsberger for pretty much most of the season. As you can see, 27 points, 25 points, 14 points and 0 for those guys. So it is going to be close tonight between the two top boys, Gecko and Philo. Right, let's have a look then. Merch still available, people. T-shirts and stickers. Let me know if you want any of those. Hit me up, darksmoker@googlemail.com, on the Facebook, in the chat, wherever it is. Throw me a holler. All right, let's get ourselves in. Let's turn the sound on for you lot. Look at the weather. Oh my God. I hope they brought an outboard, is about all I can say. Let's have a look who we've got tonight for the finals. We have got Brinky, we've got Mark, we've got Philo, Ace Killer. I think Philo's actually racing from the United States of America. He's over there in America, in Florida, I believe. So has he taken his PlayStation? Has he borrowed one? What? I don't know. I don't know, but apparently that's where he is. Ace Killer, he's in tonight. Gecko Racers in the house. Oni Kaijin, lobby host. Big shout out to Potter McPot setting all this up. He's the name behind the league, pretty much, apart from the Team Oliver Racing bit. Obviously, they're our sponsors. They're the Maniac Truck Racing team that race here over in the British Truck Racing Championship. Definitely, if you get a chance, go and watch the truck racing. It's something to behold, definitely. D. Ridders is in the house, Frosty's in the house, Fat Pickle's in the house, and me. So, let's get ourselves in. Sounds like they're already out on track. On board with Brinky. Let's just have a look at it. It's grey, it's dirty, it stinks. So tentative with the throttle. I can imagine they're all on full wets for this one. Oh, that's not what I'm trying to do. Oh yes it is. Yeah, full wets on board for Brinks. spray being kicked up. Let's just drop back through the field. Let's get on board with Ace Killer. Oh, look at the spray as well. Off the line, that's going to be tricky. They're all trying to get hold of these cars, but difficult in these conditions. So 15 minutes quali we've got for you guys, and then, well, if we can make it, look, Velo. Don't blame me being in America for doing that. Oh, Ace Killer, just trying to gather this Nissan up. But yeah, you can see the spray, you know, off the line when there's a few cars headed down Eau Rouge, and it's going to be dirty. See what happens. Oh my god, full lock there for Ace Killer, only just getting around the corner. They'll want squeegees on the front of their car to push the water out of the way before they get there at this rate. Look at the state of it. Drive that car properly, Ace Killer. Wow. So yeah, apparently it's like this for the whole of race 1. I'm not sure what race 2 is going to be like. Obviously qualifying, tipping it down. Race 1, tipping it down. Hopefully the weather gets a little bit better for race 2, but we'll see. Stinky, dirty finals here then at Spa with the weather. Get ourselves on front and then back on board with Brinky. Are they even going to be able to push the water out of the way lap by lap? Are they going to be able to create some kind of dry line here? They can't even get it pointing in the right direction on the straights, look. It's going to be an interesting finals for you lot tonight. Better tell your mates and tell your mums already, because it's going to be a cracker. Getting in there early with the mums. Hot laps out now then. Let's see what they've got. How much of this track can they stay onto? How much can they... Mark getting a little bit of a toe off of Brinky. That will benefit him in his... flies past Brinky. Can he make it to the corner though? Make it round the corner. Whoa. Hits a bit of curve, does Mart. Where's he gone? No, missed the turn. Again, just pushed, driven out wide. Resets himself. Throws himself back in the pits then. Mart not happy with that lap. Can reset and go again. Done out laps into hot laps then, so it is Oni Kaijin currently on pole position, 246.5, bottom of pot 0.3 behind him at 246.8. Ace Killer in third currently 247.4. Again, tricky conditions here. Fat Pickles just getting himself back out the pits. Mart getting himself back out the pits, 5th and 6th, but we can't see a time. 2 behind Oni, so he's what, 147.7 for Mark, probably 147.8. Oh, was Fat Pickles on 1.0, very almost the same as Mark, so pretty much the same time. Frosty, so he is on a 240 drift. That Mercedes Frosty, well held. Not sure if that was intentional, but impressive. And again, big heavy Mercedes, just wanted to let the tail go in these wet conditions. Hazards on. Rain still coming down hard then during this qualifying session. Drivers struggling to get these things pointing in a straight line, even when they're in a straight line. Gather it up, Frosty, gather it up. He's managed to keep hold of that as well. He's not happy with that one. Resets himself back to the pits. Now. on another out lap for Mart. A lot of drivers coming in and out of the pits when they're getting these laps wrong. Pickles up into 4th position. Not sure whether we've had drivers disappear, have we? No, that's right. Fat Pickles in 4th. That's where he was, yeah. Mart was in 5th, that's correct. There's still Oni Kaijin in this pole slot though. Potter's not been able to close that gap up. He's also reset himself to the pits. Comes back out. Rocking the Team Oliver Racing Esports livery as well. Whoa, gets the tail out with the BMW. Keeps that livery in good condition. Keeps it out the wall. Now drifts it through the hairpin. I'm going to have to find my track map because I've forgotten what corners are called what. I know what there are names of corners. I know what some of the names are, but I forget which corners are those names. You know what I mean. It's not a very good one. It looks a little bit like a Uzi 9mm if I'm perfectly honest. Gecko, championship leader, comes through 10 minutes into qualifying. He's got on 2:44.5. He's found a little bit of pace, 2 seconds quicker than Oni. He's ran his car almost out of fuel though. Car running light, running a little bit faster on those full wets. Oni then gets dropped into 2nd position. Now 2 seconds to try and make up to retake that pole slot. Pot as well, still out on an outlap. Ace Killer on an outlap. In fact, Pickles now holding 5th with Gecko's arrival into pole. Still 6th. Brinky backwards 7th. Frosty 8th. Philo 9th. Racing from the United States. I think. I could be lying. Ridder's 10th. Drifting the Aston. Feathering the throttle through here. Trying to keep the great big GT3s pointing in a straight line. Anyone unseat Gecko? Is this going to be another pole position? Do get extra points in the championship for these pole positions and fastest laps during the race. Go on, Gex. Oh, maybe not quite so dramatic. Where's Potter? All purple sectors. He's 10th up at the minute, but early on in the lap. On board with a Potter. Let's change that to the other onboard camera for a minute. See what you lot think of that. I'm not doing anything, it turns itself. I think I've got no control over this one. I can just change driver or it wiggles itself around a little bit. Yeah, difficult conditions here at Spa tonight. Has found some time. We'll just stick with Potter. See how tentative they're being with the throttle on these corners, just, or stamping it and getting the drift on for Potter, but obviously that's not the quickest way around these turns. Could be another lap in the bin. No, he's still up just under 200ths of a second for Potter. Still coming down to the final part of this track as well. Get through Blanchimont. Backing off the throttle through there in the dry, it would be absolutely pinned through that corner. Down towards the final chicane then. What's Potter got? Can he hold on to that tiny little bit of a lead around these dirty, wet corners? A little bit deep into that first of the chicanes. Has to avoid the curb on the way out. Can he get the power down early enough? And he does. 246.8, a thousandth of a second, Potter. Potter by 1,000th of a second. Gecko now out on circuit. He's on an outlap though. He's got opportunity if he can get to the line. He's got a minute to go. And Potter's still got opportunity here to go faster if he wants to, but can Gecko now retake that pole slot? Again, tentative out of these final corners, just trying to get the power down cleanly, get a good exit. Spins it up in third, does Gecko. Down towards turn one, La Source. Got to be so careful down here. Again, off the line, it's going to be tricky, it's going to be dirty, there's going to be a big pile of spray to deal with for the drivers near the back of the track. Hopefully everyone gets a good start. We don't get anyone piling into the back of anyone else. No false starts tonight, please, boys. Alright, let's just see what Gecko's first sector time is. Potter still holding the pole position by 1,000th of a second at the minute. It is final lap then. The 15-minute counter ticks over. While I was looking at that, I missed Gecko's time. A little bit of a drift. Again, Potter's still out on circuit as well. Somewhere he's slowed down so that he's seems quite happy with his first place at the minute. Oh, a little wiggle from Gecko just as he come back on board with him. That might upset his attempt for pole. Ages till the next time in line. Come on. And Potter hold on to this pole position. It's literally a molecule between them. This corner then, let's see what the time says. Down by nearly 0.4. That's going to be difficult to make up in this final sector. Could be Potter on for pole position here unless some other maniac comes through and finds some time somewhere. Depends how quick Gecko can get through Blanchimont. Fair amount of speed through there, might be able to carry that down to final corners here. Let's just stay on board with him, see what he has got. Again, just trying to get the power down early. Still not trying, it's not this one, it's a 2:44.555 for Gecko on that lap. So it is Potter that takes pole then, 2:44.554. Molecular level, that's what we're talking for those two. Philo as well gets himself into third right at the end of quali. He is almost a second back though at qualifying. Lexus maybe not liking this circuit in the wet. It has been one of the stronger cars this season. There are qualifying results then. Potter first, Gecko second, Philo third, Oni fourth, Fat Pickles fifth, Mart in sixth, Ace Killer in seventh, Brinky in eighth, yeah, I'm Frosty in ninth, and D Ridders 88 in 10th. Dirty wet qualifying. Ew. See what the race brings. Again, hopefully race 2 weather might clear up. I don't know, not weatherman. couldn't tell you what the they do put the weather codes for the lobbies in the chat, but I don't know what they mean. Lobby host then giving everyone the shout. We now have to wait. Finals is here then, people. Let me knock the stuff on quickly. Hopefully no false starts. Again, everyone got to be careful down towards turn 1 through Eau Rouge. Right. Go out then. Everybody getting away. Nobody fishtails into the wall yet. Wiggles all over the place though. There's drivers struggling to get control of these cars. Like they try to get the power down. Side by side for Philo and Gecko. Philo just squeezes himself up the inside. Oh, everyone through there just about cleanly as their cars going backwards in the background. Oh, all drivers through turn 1 cleanly. A little bit of a wiggle from a lot, but everyone through there. Potter then holds onto the lead through turn 1 down Eau Rouge onto Kemmel, but he's under pressure. Oni Kaijin, Philo, Gecko right behind him. Tucks over to the right hand side, doesn't want to give anyone the advantage of slipping one up the inside. Oni not taking advantage of the slipstream. Doesn't benefit him. Philo though has a look up the inside of Potter on the way through there. Now got the inside on Oni. Oh, still side by side. Gecko has a look. Come on, get the cameras changed. Now Gecko and Philo side by side. Championship contenders. Oh, knocking it out. Philo gets a little drift on. Oh, Brinky gets a drift on too. Ah, everyone getting a drift on. Gecko and Philo still battling out for third, side by side through there. And again, but now Philo with the advantage gets himself in front of Gecko. Again, just going to have to be very cautious here. Oof, Ridders. Almost gets that Aston spinning around in 9th position. Gecko comes back at Philo through there, has a little switch back up the inside as well. Can he get the power down? It's properly kicking off here then in this finals. Philo and Gecko championship contenders looking for the win early on. Oni keeping himself in touch with race leader Potter though. Potter will just be happy with these two battling it out between themselves. Very, very slim chance of Potter taking the championship. It would take almost an act of God. But currently leading this first race tonight. 9 laps of this wet Spa circuit. Seen drivers struggling to keep these cars pointing in the right direction, but Potter starts to find a little bit of time over Oni. Second breaks between those two. Oni, but third, still battling side by side for almost the whole first lap here then, Philo and Gecko, if you can even see them on circuit. They've just been finding that little switch back up the inside, as we've just seen Gecko do. Third into fourth, now side by side on the run down the start finish straight. Philo gets a wiggle on, so he loses the time coming out of that final corner. Allows Gecko to get himself into third, and by a little bit of a margin as well. Comes back though, late braking for Philo, nudges Gecko a little bit wide. Gecko still able to get the power on a little bit earlier. Mart in fifth, 1.7 seconds back from that fight in front of him between Philo and Gecko. A little bit of a gap between himself and Brinky as well, so breathing room for him to just think about his race. 1.6 seconds back for Brinky. Ace Killer in 7th, just 0.7 behind him. A little bit of a slipstream. Ridders gets himself up into 8th. Fat Pickles has dropped down to 9th. Yeah, I'm Frosty tucked under the rear wing and looking for the opportunity, sitting in 10th. Fat Pickles has a look up the inside of Ridders, backs out late though. Doesn't affect his run into the corner, keeps himself tucked under the rear wing of that Aston in front of him. A little bit slow out of that corner, Frosty. Not able to take advantage. And now has a little look down towards the hairpin, does he? No, backs out just at the last minute. Ridders gets the Aston sideways again on the exit. They accidentally put softs on the back, slicks. Fat Pickles comes back out. Ridders then retakes that 8th position, with Ridders trying to go sideways around this circuit more than forwards. Frosty just looking for Ridders. Has that helped out? Frosty's up the inside through this corner. Has it helped him out? Campus, of course. It has into 9th then. Ridders now 10th, unfortunately. And back up front, Potter McPot still leads this one again with a drift on. Oh, Oni, get it back on circuit. Well controlled. Had a little bit of a drift on and it snapped on him. Almost sent him into the wall for Oni, but he gathered it back up. Gecko Racer takes advantage of that though, gets himself into 2nd position. Now only 1.3 seconds behind Potter. Oni then under threat from Philo. Storms his way past Oni. Gets himself into 3rd. Oni gets pushed down another position into 4th. So from 2nd to 4th with that little mistake. Not able to carry quite as much speed through Blanchimont as Philo. As a result, falls down the field 2 places. Mart then 2.1 seconds down in the Aston. Got a little bit of a chase on now with Brinky. Closed up on him. That's just 0.8 of a second. That's dragged Ace Killer along him for the fight as well. And then we've got the back 3 still punching it up. We've got Fat Pickles. Yeah, I'm Frosty and Ridders still 8th, 9th and 10th at the minute. As Ridders managed to get his rudder in the water and keep this thing pointing in the right direction. Maybe for the minute he has. Maybe his tyres have only just managed to warm up. Potter then under threat from Gecko, closed that gap right up on him, 0.6 of a second. Threat then Potter. Philo goes a little bit deep into that corner, but he's also just keeping himself in touch with these top 2. Oni Kaijin as well in 4th, not too far back. Trying to keep themselves pointing straight, very difficult. No dry line appearing yet on circuit really. Maybe a little one, but it's going to take an awful lot of cars and an awful lot of laps to actually get that to appear. We are into lap 3 of 9 in this race 1 of finals night tonight here at Spa. Team Oliver Racing sponsored GT3 League, hosted by Mature Racing Club over there on Facebook. Gecko not able to get his way past Potter yet. Maybe waiting for an opportunity he knows he's faster than Potter at. I don't know. Out of there then, keeps himself out of danger for the time being, Potter. What could Gecko do into this final corner? They've got to get themselves through Blanchimont. Oh, Potter backs off the throttle. Gecko goes sideways. Not able to carry the speed through then, not able to make a lunge on Potter at this final corner. As I think about it, but Potter gets that covered off. Gets the slightly better line through there, but not able to get the power down. Here comes Gecko then. Who's going to win down into turn 1? Potter still holds his line, he has got the advantage. Still side by side on the exit, but Gecko Racer just able to get that thing pointed in a straight line quicker. Gets the power down. They are still just side by side. Gecko can't cut him off yet. They're going to be side by side down here. This is going to be absolutely insane. Potter just about gets himself in front. Both drivers having to back off the throttle. Gecko having to take a teeny tiny little shortcut. Sorry about the camera jigging about, it does, but look at this. Philo has decided he's going to turn his car into lawnmower while you lot are having a fight. It's going to be 3 wide here as we head up the Kemmel. into Les Combs, who's going to win under braking. Potter slams it down the gears all the way into second. That car almost blowing up on the way through there. Holds that first place though. Gecko and Philo now battling it out again for second and third. But they are now involving Potter McPot in this fight. Oh, again, Philo slightly late braking, gets himself side by side with Potter, but on the wet line. Gecko then gets himself back side by side with Philo. All these drivers. Oni Kaijin has pulled himself back into this four-way fight now. There's Mark not too far in the distance either. All these front guys just racing too much. Potter, Philo, Gecko, Oni. Bumper to bumper down here. Mark then gets that gap down to 2 seconds, but now pulled 2.6 between himself and Brinky. What's happened to... Where's Ace Killer gone? Ace Killer's now out of the lobby. What's happened? Top 4 still having a punch up then. Potter McPot. Still under threat here from Philo, Gecko and Oni Kaijin. Let's get ourselves on board with this. Is looking from the 4th place driver, Oni. That's about all he can see. So one set of tail lights and a big pile of spray on the straights. Oh, that's a good corner through there. Wow, gathers it up as well. Gecko. Philo not getting a good run through there. He's now backwards. That does affect Oni Kaijin. Brings Mark back into the fight as well. I'm going to have to change these cameras up quickly. Oni now under threat for that third. Mark having a look on the outside down towards the source. Who gets the braking done? Who gets the power down on the way out? It is going to be Oni Kaijin, I think. Just holds on to that. So, mistakes happening. Philo then. Backwards through the final corner. Now 6th position. Battle still raging up front though. Potter and Gecko still having a fight for 1st position. Just half a second in it between them. Oni now 1.5 seconds back in 3rd position. Mart in a similar McLaren. Exactly the same McLaren, different setups. Just half a second back from Oni now, sitting in 4th position. Brinky moves up to 5th with Philo's drop down the order. Philo then in 6th. A fight on his hand halfway through this race. Well, he's had a fight on his hand for most of the race, but he's got an even bigger fight now. Fat Pickles in at 7th. Trying to keep this BMW pointing in a straight line. Frosty just 2.6 seconds down in 8th. Ridders, still going sideways here, 4.2 behind Frosty. Not liking the Aston in the rain here then. Oh, still absolutely struggling here, Ridders, to keep this thing pointing straight. Race leader Potter, 0.7, 0.8 of a second over Gecko as they come into the campus again. Still no dry line appearing. Too much water coming down today for a dry line to appear on this circuit. Seconds now. Potter has pulled away from Gecko. Oni Kaijin 1.6 seconds. Mart fallen back a little bit again. Tiny little mistake has cost him about half a second. He's got Ricky 1.6 seconds back. Not too far, but not under direct threat at the minute for Mart. Philo 6th, 2.93 seconds down. Killer rejoins the lobby, so he'll be looking to get back into race 2. Not sure what happened into race 1. Maybe a internet glitch. Gets booted out. Frosty into 7th then. Ridders 8th. Fat Pickles bit backwards, sideways maybe even upside down here at Spa. Drops himself into 9th, and unfortunately we've lost Ace Killer from race 1. And then lap 6 of 9. Still pretty close in these wet conditions. 0.7 between Potter and Gecko. Gecko getting a great run through there, closes up on Potter. Not going to be enough before Les Combs. Potter moves over to the inside of the circuit to move back over to the racing line. Goes through there cleanly, as does Gecko Racer. Potter manages to get the gap again, stretching it up a little bit by that 0.3 of a second. Gecko's gone full hardcore, he's not even got his wipers on here. Potter's got him going full power. Gecko's decided doesn't need them, it's wasting power. Kaijin in 3rd, he's got them going full steam, as has Mart. Brinky's closed right up on Mart actually, just while we're on board. 0.8 of a second. Needs to be keeping that McLaren pointing in a straight line. Mart. Philo falling a little bit further back, 4.2 seconds behind Brinky. Maybe looking to gain the advantage in the second race. Frosty in 7th then, managing to keep that. Don't curse him, just about managing to keep that Mercedes pointing in a straight line. Get off him quick before he sticks it in a wall. Ridders then, still trying to get this Aston sideways. You've not found a rudder for that thing yet, have you? Look. I bet he's having a great time behind the wheel though. But he's loving it. You know, obviously he's not happy he's down in 8th. He'll be wanting to get that thing pointing straight and the power down, but he'll be having a whale of a time getting that thing drifting. Then 6.4 back. Little mistakes cost him a few positions and a few seconds, and unfortunately losing Ace Killer from this one. Was sitting in 6th position, no, 7th position. Then Injectomathon out of the lobby, unfortunately, for Ace Killer. Still not managed to run away with this one yet. Lap 7 of 9. Gecko Racer still just 0.6 of a second behind him. Weather still lashing it down here at Spa. I was going to say something about the puddles, but I think it is just a puddle with a racetrack underneath it. Always gains a little bit of time on Gecko through Les Combs. I'm not sure if he's able to get the power down, if he's able to brake later. He'll seem to be able to make up a few tenths on Gecko through there. Gecko then looking to try and close that gap down. Again, he's a championship contender versus Philo, so this is all working for him in the minute, sitting in 2nd place versus Philo's 6th place. That will stretch his lead out in the championship before the final race this evening. But again, Philo could be looking for that slight advantage by just holding that 6th. Giving himself mid-pack at the start of the race, he can just get himself away, fight his way through the few drivers in front of him, and hopefully by the time Gecko's managed to make his way through, he's off and away down the road, and you know, Gecko's now got his work properly cut out for him. But Gecko does have a few points lead in the championship already. Gecko will be looking for as many points as possible. Wasn't able to take that pole position point. not even holding the fastest lap point at the minute either. That's sitting with Oni Kaiji with a 2:45.6. 2:45.656 actually, not too far off for Gecko, but does manage to close that gap back up on Potter. It's 0.6 of a second as he comes through that final corner. But Oni, Mart and Brinky, all these three very close together. Philo still 4 seconds down in 6th. Oni comes down towards the source then, closely chased by Mart and Brinky. McLarens pretty close together. Brinky falls back a little bit, able to get the power down quite as early as the McLarens in front of him. Philo gains a slight bit of time on him due to that. The Lexus driver, Frosty, then holding that 7th, but 12.6 seconds down from Philo. Ridders in 8.1 seconds back in the Drift Machine, and Fat Pickles 5.3 back in the BMW in 9th. Back up front then, Potter keeps the lead, 0.6 over Gecko. It's so close, Potter's got to be so careful here, any little mistake. If Gecko can take advantage, he certainly will give it a go. He's got to be careful he doesn't take the wrong line whilst doing so and throw himself off circuit. A Race Asylum team of Gecko Racer. Keeps himself under half a second behind Potter. He has now retaken fastest lap at 2:45.193, so that is 1 extra point already. Plus final championship point, final race points tonight for these 2 races we've got for you. Lap 8 of 9, then final lap just round the corner for Potter and Gecko. Whoa, Potter. We can talk about tyre wear and tyre compounds, but there's literally no point. Then having to go a little bit defensive, Brinky all over the back of him. Tiny little bit of a gap developed between Oni and Mart as well, 3rd and 4th. Mart's now got a mirror full of a BMW of Brinky. Oh no! Oh, unfortunately, Mart's gets it a little wobble on. Goes off circuit and gets reset to track, unfortunately. Now under threat for that 6th position. We've got I'm Frosty and Ridders, who has closed up. He's managed to find his rudder maybe. So Mart, a bit of work to do in this final lap then. Just got to keep those 2 drivers behind him. Don't forget to hit that like button, people. Final lap, here we go then. Frosty and Ridders with a little bit of a chance for that 6th place if there's any more mistakes from Martin. Pot then leads into this final lap. Gecko Racer looking to make the move on him. Potter's holding that line nicely. Now keeps his car right in the middle of the circuit before he hits the racing line. Gets himself onto the apex. Gecko nowhere to go. Again, just got to be careful. Doesn't want to squeeze the throttle too early. Again, has to nip himself over to that right hand side so Gecko can't slot one up the inside. He has looked dangerous tonight doing that. Whoa, carries the speed though around the outside. Is it going to be enough? I think Potter's gained it through the exit. Gecko looking dangerous on Potter though. Potter cuts him off on another corner. Nowhere to go. Opportunities running out for Gecko to take the lead here and win this first race. Stretch his championship lead even further. Here's Potter so far. Managing to hold on to this lead, still just half a second in it between them. Ridder's now in front of Frosty. We'll stick with this fight though as we're on the final lap. Can Frosty get that 7th position back before the checkered flag? We'll yet to see. Potter then, 0.8 of a second now over Gecko. Just a catch Arnie going through that corner. Keep it pointing straight, Potter. One of the fastest parts here down towards Blanchimont. Potter's had to back off. Let's see if Gecko can carry the speed down towards the chicane. Both drivers having to back off a little bit. Doesn't look like the advantage has gone to Potter. He still holds that 0.5 of a second lead as they come into this final corner. One more to go. Don't get the power down too early. And doesn't. Potter then comes up towards the line, takes the win here in race 1. Gecko takes second. Great racing between these guys. Brinky comes through to take third. Oni Kaijin takes fourth. Philo takes fifth. Mart, unfortunately, after that little mistake, maybe there was contact, I'm not too sure, but he should hold 6 if he can get around this corner. Almost. Doesn't take 6 then. Ridders then comes through 7th, Frosty 8th. Fat Pickles actually closing the gap up, 9th position for him. Yes, unfortunately losing Ace Killer for race 1. Not sure. He's back in the lobby though, I think. Potter McPot with the Bosch Blanc Pain overalls. Clean race, pole position, race win. I'd be happy with that. Now, although Potter might not be able to win the championship, has he got the opportunity to take second position? If he gets a win in race 2, Fido has a poor race. There's an interesting concept. Everything to play for still. Well, like I say, I'm not too sure. I don't math. I don't do math. The math bit someone else can do. But we should have final points for you tonight before the stream ends. But yeah, some great racing really in the wet there. Like I say, I just hope for the driver's sake that the weather clears up for race 2. Let's just see some details about race 2. Where are you? Here we go. Race 2 then. 18 laps. They do only start with 70% of fuel. And here we go. Look, see, time and day and weather on track. If you can make head or tail of this, then, you know, put it in the chat. So it's afternoon, and we've got C06, C03, C02, C10, S10, S11, S11, S07. All right. It does say though, tyres for the second race, you must use both racing softs and racing medium compounds, which tells me it's going to be a dry one. It's going to mean it's an absolute punch up for this final race, because everybody will be an absolute full tilt. It won't come down to weather or track conditions. It'll just purely come down to you getting it around this circuit 18 times the fastest way possible. But again, it's been a great season. Big shout out to all the drivers. Big shout out to Potter McPot lobby host Philo and all the boys who jump in and test. And I know Gecko's been giving out tuning advice and all that sort of stuff. And again, you know, there's if you want the help with tuning, jump into one of the race lobbies, one of the practice lobbies. You know, obviously season's over now, but these boys, I'm sure, will probably still be in lobbies every night of the week while they, you know, set up next season and get things ready and test out tracks and cars and blah blah blah, all that sort of stuff. And if you want the help with tuning, definitely make sure you jump in. They're not, they're a bit rowdy, but they're not idiots, so they will give you tunes and they will help you out. Just got to ask. Same for the Pro-Am boys, you know, they're over there on Facebook racing with D-Dot Racing. He's doing the comms over there. You know, if you want some help with tuning, just jump in the lobbies when you see the boys in there. They'll definitely help you out. And, you know, they'll give you a chance to set up. They'll stick you around the lap for a couple of times. How was that? Did it feel better, worse? Try this, try that. And then, you know, have a little 5-lap race. And it gives you a feel for the car. Helps you out with that tuning. I know nothing about it. Just max, min stuff. That's all I've ever heard from this. Max, min, max. Max. And not Verstappen. Dry race for race 2. Look at that, not a drop of water on the circuit. It literally was a puddle with a racetrack underneath it for race 1. Everybody out on track just trying to get their heads wrapped around a dry circuit and different tyres. And what do you mean I can go around this corner faster? What do you mean I haven't got to throw an actual anchor out the back of my car to slow down? Right, I will get myself in the lobby. Oh, Ridders will be overjoyed unless he was enjoying the drift. You never know, he might still drift around race 2. He's trying, isn't he? I'm sure he's trying. He's forgotten it's not wet. Alright, maybe he's not then. Maybe he's actually driving that car sensibly-ish. A big shout out to all the boys as well for dropping the... Oh, there you go, you see. Sensibly-ish. Big shout out to all the drivers anyway for chucking the channel livery on the car, channel logo. A few of them have got the D-Dot Racing. They've probably all got the D-Dot Racing one somewhere on their motor. Let's have a little scan around. Oh, that was the wrong... That's what I wanted. We've got the D-Dot Racing on there anywhere. Or is it just the Pro? Oh, there it is, right on the front bonnet. DDR. So yeah, they're rocking both the commentators' channels tonight, mine and D-Dot's. Thank you very much, boys. Liveries are looking good as well. Oni Racing from the United States of America. Don't know where in America. Maybe he's meeting up with Philo. He's over there in Florida. I don't know. Looking good though. High bending line livery. The Fat Pickle smashed down the side of, funnily enough, the Fat Pickle. Almost stealth if it wasn't for the Fat Pickle. It's killer. Great big We Are Driven smashed across the bonnet. Looks good when you look from this angle. Goes a bit wonky from the side. Great big dark smoke has smashed on the spoiler as well. Cheers, Ace Killer. We Are Driven for Brinky. Team Esports, Team Oliver Racing Esports livery. Gets a little send from Philo. There's Philo in the Lexus. Green and blue, just sending Brinky through that final corner. A little bit of help. That's Oni. We've seen Potter. Mark we can't have a look at. Gecko's just coming out of the pits. Ridders we've looked at. We've looked at. There we go. Oh, Brinky, stop it. Come on. Gecko's got to be out on circuit now. There he is, Gecko Racing. The race asylum drive. You swines. I hate you all. They do that. They do that in qualifying as well. I'm sure they do it on purpose. Just so they're coming up to the line. Oh, he's got a... Oh, chucks himself in the pit so we don't get to see. You swines. We'll get you, Gecko. There you go, look. There you go, quick. There you go, Gecko gets a quick shufty round because he's probably going to chuck himself in the pits any minute. Get a little look at Mark when he comes up. Out the pits, do we? Out the pits and then out the pits. We do get a look at the number 37 car. Chameleon blue. Tell you what was smashed on the bonnet. There'll be a Leicester City badge on there, right on behind that rear wheel. And then there's a wolf on the back. Which I'm told, see the little blue eyes, I'm told that's a fox, but to me, that's 100% wolf. I'm not having it. That's a no from me, Mark. Anybody else going to give us a livery look? Is that everybody? There's yeah, I'm Frosty. Keep it there, Frosty. Don't move it. Don't you dare. Keep that damn car there. No livery comp this year. It is Frosty that won the livery comp. He did Martin's livery last season. So he actually won a livery comp that I had on last season. So he won 2 tickets to any of the GT3 races. And we met him up at Donington. It's the first time he'd ever been. Loved it. Whoa. 1 minute then till race start here. The finals race of the evening. Hashtag ASMR, hashtag lighter click. Ew, Frosty. No. We saw a couple of Mercedes doing that actually at Donington. One of them ended up upside down. Seen all the liveries now. Yeah. His killer has found some time at the end of this championship. That Nissan, I don't know if he's changed his setup somewhere halfway through the season, but in the dry, this thing has looked pretty gnarly. Strategy plays out well for him in the longer races, so we'll see how it plays out tonight. Again, these are only little practice laps before they start race 2 tonight. Look at the time difference, 2:18 versus a 2:45 in the wet. In the sea, basically. Maybe not a sea, maybe a lake, because I don't think there was much salt, so it was a freshwater lake. May as well have been. Ridders was struggling to keep this thing pointing in a straight line, let alone going around corners. Too bad though, ended up 7th. Managed to find the grip right at the end. Find out how the spooky Aston does after race 2 tonight then. So finals race just about to start. Again, been a great championship. Big shout out to all the drivers, lobby hosts. Big shout out to team sponsors, Team Oliver Racing. Make sure you go and check them out on Facebook. Go give them a like. Tell them we sent you. And if you get your chance, I'm telling you, go watch the truck racing. You can get yourself up to like a truck fest or something like that. They do truck drifting, they do caravan smashing, they do all sorts of mentalness in trucks. Definitely recommend going to watch some truck racing. If you do go and see the Team Oliver boys. They're always very friendly. You know, tell them we sent you, and you know we're here from the league and blah blah blah. Heard about you from XYZ, that sort of thing. Give us a little shout out to them as well, so they know people are listening and people know. Nobody being tentative on the throttle around the corners now then in the dry. See what strategies people play. There'll be a good mix of softs and mediums on the grid for sure. People will be throwing everything they can at the final race to try and gain as many positions, points, etc. Unfortunately, again, no IT43 for the final race. Not able to make it, unfortunately. So him and Ridders were neck and neck on points. They don't get to have, you know what? They don't get to have it out basically on track. I'm sure that would have been a great race between those two as well. Race 2 then, getting the starting now signal from lobby host Potter. It doesn't seem to be happening. Where are you, Frosty? Oh, pointing at the wall trying to burn some tyres out, are you? Reverse. Won't do it on the grass. It's not having it, McFrost. Here we go then. Race 2 of the evening. Let's get ourselves on board with race 1 winner Potter McPot. How they all get on into turn 1 from this view. Lights start going on then. We wait for these to go out. Hopefully again everyone gets a good start. No false starts from anyone. Oh, Velo doesn't get a great start though. Maybe slightly jet lagged. Ace Killer scoops through into the lead of the race. Potter McPot gets a great corner through there, gets himself past Mart, gets himself past Oni, Kaijin and Brinky. Mart all over the back of Oni though, they're running down the hill. Let's get ourselves in front. Ace Killer, again the Nissan. Don't know what's going on with the Nissan, but it's found some legs in the last half of the season. Into the lead then, second over Frosty. Frosty under threat from Ridders up the inside. No anchors in this race tonight for Ridders. Gets himself through into second. Frosty, oh, almost a little bit sideways. Got to get those tyres warm. Sitting in third. Fat Pickles in fourth position in the BMW. Philo up into fifth. Mart in the background. Oh, Mart's pinned it into the wall. He's spun the wheels up on the exit of that corner. Put that McLaren into the wall very early on into lap 1. Unfortunately, will repair itself, but puts him a long way out of the fight. He's got Brinky behind him. Brinky's also struggling to keep the BMW pointing straight. And it is Ace Killer absolutely stomping away on the mediums a minute. This is exactly how he'll want it to play out. If he can get that lead on the mediums, and then when they all jump onto the softs, keep that lead. Fat Pickles then in second on the mediums as well. Philo on the mediums in third. He does fourth on mediums. Oni Kaijin almost up the inside of him and does now just about get up the inside. Ridders. That's opened the door massively. Potter squeezes his way past Ridders, but it is Gecko, Philo, Potter again battling it out with Oni Kaijin right in the mix again. Yeah, I'm Frosty tucked behind these boys. Whoa. Ridders doing a good job to keep that one on circuits. Frosty having a little look round the outside. Great drive from Frosty. Saw the opportunity, made it work. It's brought Martin back into the equation, even with a great big dent in his car. That's now repaired itself. Also out on the mediums, he gets himself back into the fight, right under the rear end of Ridders. Brinky also closing back up a little bit, 2.7 seconds. Ace Killer still storming away up front, 4.7 second lead. Fat Pickles holding second. Is everyone out on the mediums? I'm just going to flick through slowly without giving anyone any kind of fit. Softs on for Frosty. He doesn't want to waste those. Unfortunately, Frosty's playing on pad, so he blows his tyres out quite quickly, unfortunately. So if any of his mates are listening, watching for Christmas, birthday, Easter, whatever other things that need to happen, Valentine's, whatever, I know it's gone, get him a steering wheel and pedals, boys. Or Mum. Mum's listening. Mum's listening. I know Mum's listening. Ridders 8th, then Mart back in at 9th. Again, tucked under Ridders' rear end, but can't get through at the minute. Oh, he might be able to if Ridders decides to drive himself off circuit. There is Brinky just on the back of this fight as well. He is closing that gap up. This man is stretching the gap out. We just missed the overtake from Philo on Fat Pickles, have we? Yes, we have. Philo gets himself through Fat Pickles, has a little look back up the inside. Philo will now have the advantage into this next corner. Oh, Fat Pickles had to slam the anchors on to try and keep it on the circuit. Gets himself back behind Philo. Needs to use the toe down towards Blanchimont and the final chicane. Potter McPot from the back of the field already into 4th position. Gecko right behind him in 5th. Oni Kaijin 6th. Mart up the field into 7th position. Ridders now 8th. Brinky 9th. Frosty with a mistake. He's now down in 10th position. Positions swapping a fair chunk more than they were in the wet. Ace Killer living his best life at the minute. Fastest lap 2:17.6 on the mediums. 6.9 maybe will be 7-second lead. Can he hold that though? Philo and Fat Pickles and a Potter McPot and a Gecko Racer and an Oni are slowly but surely. They will be closing him back in, and now Philo's taking that lead. What can Ace Killer do? Whoa. Stretching the track limits there. Philo looking for that fastest line. Fat Pickles closing up though. Philo can see that, has to drop himself into the defensive position. Fat Pickles has a look around the outside into Les Combs. Can he make it work? Side by side through the turn. First turn, side by side through the second, but that still gives Philo the advantage into the next turn. But he's running a little bit wide. This driver's going all over the place. Potter looking for a way through as well. Almost getting themselves 3 wide, but they have run themselves a bit deep into... Oh my gosh, they're almost backwards. Brussels. Potter and Fat Pickles side by side. The 2 BMW drivers. Gecko now looking around the outside of both of them and gets himself through. Saw the gap and went for it. It's an absolute punch up for this Fat Pickles. Gets himself wide. Now under threat from Oni. Mark now up into 7th and closing up on this fight. medium tyres as well for Mart, so making them work well in this first stint. Needs to make them work better though. Brinky in 8th. Oh, Ridders 9th, 1.5 seconds back. Frosty, unfortunately, with his mistake now, 5.7. Look at this amount of wear building up on those softs already. Only into lap 3 of 18. Ace Killer. Oh, Ace Killer. Ace Killer. Finding time. 8.4 seconds. The punch-up that's been going off for second has cost these boys time. Oh, Philo goes deep. Philo almost goes sideways. That brings Potter right under his rear wing again. Martin moving up the field. Philo in 2nd, then Potter 3rd. Gecko Racer in 4th position. Mart having a look around the outside of Fat Pickles. Who's going to win that fight? It is going to be Mart. He gets himself through to 5th. Now 3.4 seconds behind Gecko. Bit of a push, but they have been battling in front, so maybe that's going to work to his advantage. Maybe he can close that gap up. No slipstream for Mart though. There's the gap between himself and Gecko. He is closing. On board with Gecko. He's still chasing Potter. Potter's still chasing Philo. And everybody still chasing this man. Ace Killer, 9.2 seconds lead. Pretty much all drivers on circuit on the medium tyre except for I Am Frosty. So yeah, I'm Frosty. And Ace Killer, like I say, living his best life at the minute. Philo pulls himself a little bit of breathing room between himself and Potter, almost a second. Potter gets himself 3/4 between himself and Gecko as well. Mart on the mediums, now 2.8 seconds behind Gecko. Fat Pickles not too far back, still holding 6, but under pressure from Brinky for that position, and Oni Kaijin trying to defend down here. This is a wide circuit for one car to defend the whole track. 2 drivers vying for position. He could get a pincer movement stung on him at any minute, but little battle between Brinky and Oni is just giving him a tiny bit of breathing room, almost a second. Brinky now got his mirrors full of the McLaren of Oni Kaijin. And Ridder's 9th. Frosty then falls even further back. We're kicking in now. Only lap 4 of 18. There's the gap. Ace Killer, almost the whole start finish straight ahead of Philo. Between 2nd, 3rd and 4th. On board with Gecko then. Can he get the toe on Potter? Can he make it work up the Kemmel? On this pretty long Kemmel straight, we've seen drivers have a go already. To Les Combs again for lap 5. Little purple sector there for Gecko. Whether we'll be able to get the rest of the purples is yet to be seen. Not able to get Potter on the Kemmel straight, then up to Les Combs down to Brussels. Nobody making a mistake now. It's nice and dry through here. Oof, say that. Philo decides he's going to nearly send that Lexus sideways. Very, very close, these 3 drivers. Ace Killer still just having a little bit of a lonely race. He must be enjoying it because he's way out front, 9.2 seconds. He's just got to keep putting in those good laps. Purple sectors from him now as well. He's still holding that fastest lap, 2:17.6 is Ace Killer. As he should be, with nothing else on track in front of him. He can just take every line he wants. Philo needs to take the top spot. He also needs Gecko to have an absolutely terrible race. Still not even sure whether he can take the championship. We are going to get an update on points before I finish the stream, so I've been told, so I will get those out as soon as I see them. Martin, 3.2 seconds. He's still pulling time over the drivers behind him, but not able to close up on this fight for fourth at the minute. It's a fight for second, but he's chasing fourth place Gecko. Then in sixth position, still being harassed by Oni Kaijin. Ridders 6.7 seconds down, unfortunately, in eighth. He's got Fat Pickles not too far back, just 2.7 seconds. Frosty struggling on his worn softs now, then 13 seconds back in 10th. Ace Killer loses a little bit of time. That down to 8.8 seconds. New fastest lap though, 17.475 from him. Can he hold on to it when they get the softs on? The final race of the Team Oliver Racing GT3 league tonight then. Already had race one, Potter McPot taking the win there. Gecko coming in second, so extends his championship lead over this man Philo. BMW looking slightly better on tyre wear. The Lexus looking very slightly better on fuel. The Aston doing better than both of them on tyres and fuel. Still play into Gecko's hands here. Again, he's only really worried about Philo at this point. Hart loses a couple of tenths, gap to 3.5, but keeps himself well ahead of this man. Where's Oni Kaijin? Little mistake set in. He's now 2.5 seconds back off Brinky. Under no threat from Ridders though. Ridders 7.8 seconds down. Pickles is closing the gap up on him though, but that was 2.7. It's now 1.2 seconds between the McLaren and BMW in 8th and 9th. Frosty in 10th then, pushing that Mercedes still. Ace Killer comfortably still 8.9 seconds up the road from anybody else on circuit. No wipers needed in this race. The sun's even coming out. So Philo still holds on to second, but still under pressure from Potter and Gecko. Martin fifth, falls a little bit further back as well. No toe for him to gain an advantage of. Just in the background of this three-way fight for second. Currently being led by Philo. Ace Killer is disgustingly far up the road, almost 9 seconds, 8.7 currently. Fuel and tyres very similar to Philo, slightly more wear on the left-hand side of his car, but exactly the same on fuel. And he's got this great big 8.6 second advantage when he comes into the pit as well. Potter third, Gecko fourth. Nobody. Philo's starting to find a little bit of time. Ace Killer into the pits this lap, then lap 7 of 18. Philo stays out, Gecko stays out, Potter comes in. He's drivers will both be switching to the soft tyre. They'll be running an awful long time on those. We'll see how they get on. Brinky stays out, Honey stays out, Ace Killer, Potter, Mart all come in, Ridders stays out, Fat Pickles stays out, and he stays tucked right under Ridder's rear wing as they head down towards the source. Doesn't go for the move up the inside, maybe we'll wait until the Kemmel. Aston versus BMW heading down the hill then. Falls a little bit back, about half a second behind Ridders at the minute. Can he gain that back before Les Combs? Now to 0.3, closes up a little bit quickly now then. Swings himself over to the right hand side of the circuit. There goes Ridders. Fat Pickles into 5th position then. What can Ridders do about that? Ace Killer back out on circuit in 7th position. Potter McPot out in 8th position. Philo's stayed out, so he's now currently in 1st. Mart also out of the pits. Fresh set of softs on for him. 5.4 back from Potter. Frosty came in as well. He's out on the mediums now for the rest of the race. 34.5 seconds behind Mart, but we'll see where he comes out, or where he slots into the rest of the field when they come in the pits. So just 1.5 seconds between Gecko and Philo. A little bit more fuel on board for Gecko Racers, and that'll allow him to spend slightly less time in the pits if he gets it bang on correctly. Both drivers into the pits now then, Philo and Gecko. Gecko could have possibly got away with another lap there, but he doesn't decide he's going to do that. Chucks himself in the pits anyway. Brinky comes in, Oni comes in, Fat Pickles probably will come in as well, as will Ridders. Fat Pickles does come in, Ridders stays out for another lap, he's got the fuel for it. Ace Killer then crosses the line, takes that 2nd position with the other drivers in the pits, just the Ridders in front of him at the minute. And he's got to take a pit stop. Ace Killer has managed to make up more time over... Oh no, he's got Philo to slot in. Philo comes in the pits now then, comes out the pits now, sorry. Brings Potter, Gecko and Philo right back together, bumper to bumper again as they exit the pits. So Philo on a brand new fresh set of tyres, Potter on a 1 lap old set of tyres, already pushing for 3rd position off of Philo. Carries the speed, gets himself over to the inside line, takes that 3rd position off of Philo. Philo thought about a little move back up the inside. Does that cost him a drive on the way through that corner? Is that going to cost him the position to Gecko? No, manages to hold it on the way through there. Allows Potter to gain 0.6 of a second on the way through Les Combs down into Brussels. Back on here again then, it will be 2nd. Ace Killer will retake that race lead when Ridders comes in. He's only 2 seconds behind the current race leader at the minute, Ace Killer. But he has found more time in that pit stop. He's got himself a 10-second lead over Potter. Potter is finding a little bit of time. Gecko's got his own issues, Philo's got his own issues with the Gecko in his rearview mirror. Can they pull that time back on Potter out of the slipstream range now then for Philo? Everybody out on the softs for this final stint, except, yeah, I'm Frosty. was on soft for stint 1. Mediums for stint 2. Unfortunately, he's on pad, so he does quite new to racing, so he does blow out tyres quite quickly. Oh, Philo gets a wobble on the final corner. He's going to allow Gecko to have a little bit of a run on him. Not able to get close enough though, Gecko. Has allowed another wiggle on the way out of the source. Has allowed Potter to stretch his legs a little bit. Now 1.3 seconds up the road from Philo. He's slowly closing in on Ace Killer as well. Still a long way back for Potter. Lap 10 of 18, 9.2 seconds the deficit between the race leader and Potter. Everybody out on that soft tyre as well. A little bit less fuel on board for Ace Killer as well. Let's hope he's got that right. Second then, 1.6 seconds now over Philo. Philo still got a mirror full of Gecko. Again, the championship fight is right here. Philo and Gecko, first and second in the championship. Potter's third, but he's a long way back. He did get a good result in race 1, so he may still be able to take the position off of Philo if Philo somehow manages to end up at the back of the field. Again, I don't know if my maths are correct. I've not even worked it out in any kind of sense, so Potter now 2 seconds, and again slowly closing in on Ace Killer. That gap from 10 seconds down to 9. Pushing the BMW hard in the second stint then Potter. Again, if Potter gets 2 wins in these final races and Philo ends up at the back of the pack, like I say, then Potter could, theoretically, again, he might have needed fastest lap, he might have needed pole position points and all those to make it, like I say, I've not really worked it out. Takes another 10th out of the race leader though, down to 8.8 seconds. These two doing everything they can to close that gap back up on him. Again, they're not. I don't think Philo's. Sorry, I don't think Gecko's overly worried. He can't be beaten by Potter. He could be. Well, maybe not now. He could have been beaten by Philo. But Philo's still got a race, like I say, he might still be under threat for that second position in the championship off of Potter. This man stormed away off the line, managed to get himself into the front of the race and has stayed there except the lap he came in and took his pit stop. Just managed to pull away lap after lap after lap for Ace Killer. Still 8.7, 8.9 second lead. Potter still holding that 2 seconds over Philo. Philo, the rear end of that Lexus, very, very loose. Gecko 4th, Mart in 5th. 5.9 seconds down for Mart. Oni Kaijin 6th, 3.7 seconds down. Bunki 7th, not too far back, 1.5 seconds behind Oni Kaijin. Big gap back to Fat Pickles though, unfortunately. 15 seconds for 8th position. Ridder's 2.4 behind him in 9th, and Frosty falling even further back, 29.6 seconds. All about this man in race 2 though tonight. Philo and Gecko find a little bit of time in the chase for Potter. 1.5 seconds the time down to, so found half a second somewhere. getting the tail of the Lexus. Potts, gap between himself and race leader down to 8.3 seconds. Still, it's an awfully tall order, lap 12 of 18. Pot actually taking fastest lap though, 2:16.6 so far. That might change as the cars get lighter. So somebody else might take that. Again, this could work in Potter's favour if the points work out. He can take that second position off of Philo. Even without that, everybody's still racing for position in this final race, regardless of points. 7.5 back in 5th. 3 seconds in front of Oni though. Both drivers in the McLaren. Both drivers on the soft tyre than the tyres on Marks are looking a little worse for wear. Did you come in a lap earlier? Lap 8? Yes, you did. Is that right? Yeah, lap 7 to lap 8, yeah, that's right. Oni Kaiji did lap 8 to lap 9, so his tyre's a little bit fresher than Mark's. He's closing up a little bit, 2.3 seconds. Still got Brinky not too far behind him either, just 1.3 seconds for the BMW driver. In fact, Pickles loses a bit more time, another second and a half, 16.6 seconds behind now. Ridders falls back as well, 4.8 seconds, as does Frosty. He's now 34 seconds behind. Again, just struggles with tyre wear on the pad, does Frosty. So yeah, boys, friends of his, mums of his, go get him a wheel. He'll do a hell of a lot better. Ace Killer then, lap 13 of 18, still holds 8.3 seconds over Potter. 5 laps remaining, could almost afford to relax a little bit. 157 up the straight, what's the BMW getting? 160? So slightly faster on the straights, but a little bit slower in the turns maybe. He's bringing that time down now. Again, a wobble from the Lexus on the way through there. The gap between race leader and Potter now 7.7 seconds. Again, tall order, not many laps left. Oh, Philo way over on the AstroTurf. That's going to slow him down a little bit. Dirty tyres as well, probably. Gets through there cleanly though, but under pressure from current race championship leader, Gecko Racer. Playing into Potter's hands. He's still got a 1.6 second gap between them. No toe for those two behind. They are pushing each other very, very hard. Just quarter of a second between Philo and Gecko as they run on their way down towards Blanchimont, who can carry the speed through there. Gecko's tyres are looking a little better than Philo's as well. All the way under his rear wing, not able to slot one up the inside through there though for Gecko. Both drivers able to get the power down cleanly as well, so Philo holds on to third. Gecko stays fourth. Now 9.5 seconds back. Brinky back up into 6th position. Oni's dropped back down into 7th, 2.1 seconds behind Brinky as well. Fat Pickles with that slight mistake. Back to a 15-second gap between himself and Oni. 8 seconds between Fat Pickles and Ridders in 9th. Frosty loses another 4 seconds, 38.5 seconds down now. remaining for Ace Killer to keep this Nissan pointing in the straight line, except when he's going around corners. Pot then pushing the BMW hard, gets a great big gap between himself and the third place man now. Philo 2.5 seconds back, great big wobble somewhere from him, which has obviously slowed down Gecko Racer as well, because both drivers have fallen back. Yeah, the tail of that Lexus just seems to want to give out on the exit of all of these corners. Gecko's fallen back a little bit, the gap's down to 0.6 of a second. Still getting a toe down these straights though for Gecko. No more pit stops left then. Race to the end, lap 14 of 18. Mart 9 seconds down in 5th. Ricky still 2 seconds behind him in 6th. Those positions back. Fat Pickles in 8th. Wilder's 9th. Frosty 10th. Ace Killer losing a little bit of time now. 9.6 seconds. Tyre wear kicking in. He was one of the first drivers to come in. When did you come in? Lap 7. Fair chunk of wear on those softs, so just got to be a little bit careful for these last few laps then. 15 of 18. Ace Killer starts that lap. And again, he's just got to be careful, doesn't spin this Nissan out. He is losing big chunks of time now. The gap coming down to 6.2 seconds. Potter is absolutely stomping this BMW, trying to catch up. These two still at it for 3rd and 4th as well. Philo having to go defensive again. Not working together. They are battling for position. Then Gecko looks to run around the outside into Les Combs. But Philo just runs it through there, holds on to that 3rd. Then Gecko's got to try again. His tyres are still looking better than Philo's. Just waiting till Philo's tyres give out later. He obviously doesn't know how good condition Philo's tyres are in. We do. Maybe he just knows he's got the advantage. Oh, Philo gets the back end of the Lexus out. Fires himself across the circuit, but manages to hold on to that 3rd position again. Great save from Philo. Able to get through. What's the gap between race leader and Potter? Pot 6.4 seconds. 2:18 for Ace Killer's last lap. Potter's, he's been putting in a couple of 2:16s, 2:17 on that last lap, so he is finding that time over Ace Killer. For 3rd, slowly breaking up as well. Philo and Gecko now 1.1 seconds between them. But it is Gecko taking the championship at the minute still. Philo's just trying to hold on to 2nd position. The championship. Potter's got an opportunity to take it off him, I think. Again, I'm not 100% sure. My maths could be completely bonkers, and probably is. Still having a nice little Sunday drive at the minute for Ace Killer. 6.4 second lead, lap 16 of 18. Fast BMW closes up down the Kemmel. He's running a few miles an hour faster than the Nissan of race leader Ace Killer. The setup of Ace Killer just allows him to hold that lead through the tighter S's and the turns on this circuit. Again, Potter has the advantage on the faster straights. Still got to be careful though. Philo only 1.8 seconds behind him. Gecko only 1.4 back. Brinky and Oni Kaijin have managed to take their positions. Mart has made a mistake somewhere. He's down into 7th position. Front end damage on board for him. 6.4 seconds back from Brinky. Oni and Brinky battling out for 5th. We just missed Oni getting himself past. He doesn't get his way through to 5th then. Can Brinky get that position back before the end of the race? Lap and a half left to have a go. 2.5 laps to have a go. Gecko falls a little bit further back from Philo. 1.8 seconds. Philo still 1.6 seconds behind Potter. Potter unable to close the gap up on Ace Killer. More slowly gets a couple of tenths on the straight down towards the final chicane. Philo. Again, through the S's, I think the Nissan's just a little bit quicker. Philo really struggling to get this thing pointing in a straight line coming out of the corners. Again, some of it might be lobby glitch, I don't know, but it's working for him at the minute. Gecko Racer, 1.9 seconds behind him. Again, Gecko's already taken the championship. Mart has decided to chuck himself in the pit, stick on a fresh set of boots, maybe just catch the fastest lap or something like that. Now then, time had just dropped below that 6-second mark. Possibly making a little bit of a mistake. Philo's got that gap now to 1.3 seconds. Racer 2.2 seconds back as well. Again, he can just relax now. He knows he's got the championship in the bag. Obviously, he'll want a good result for race 2 here, but doesn't need to race Philo as such for the championship. Maybe knows he's not got the pace. The tyres were looking a little bit better than the Lexus drivers, but he's found some pace at the end of this race. Starting to close back up on the 2nd place man Potter. Potter still unable to get that gap below 6 seconds, 6.3 at the minute. Does seem to take some time out on these longer straights though. Mills is running slightly faster. Not enough for Potter. Final lap in the championship coming up then. Killer crosses the line to start the final race of the season. Tyres almost done, fuel almost done. 6.6 second lead over Potter McPott in 2nd. He has got issues though. Philo now 0.8 of a second behind him. Both drivers on almost identical fuel and tyres. Gecko Racer tyres looking a little bit better, but not working for him at the minute in 4th. Then can Potter hold on to this 2nd over Philo? There's a little bit of a drive out of turn 1, which gives it the advantage onto the Kemmel. Gets the gap back up to 0.9 of a second. And again, BMW set up to run quick on the straights. Losing a couple of miles an hour then with Philo. 159, Potter running at 161, 162. Was able to pull that gap. Anybody else having a punch up on circuit? Let's have a quick look. Brinky and Oni are pretty close. Brinky has got a 2nd over Oni. He's got a wiggle on though. Fat Pickles through to 7th with Mark coming in the pits. Again, fresh set of tyres. Very, very low fuel. Might be just going for fastest lap here, Mart. Ridders in 9th then, and Frosty in 10th. Fuel and tyres absolutely done. Still got 6.9 second lead, Ace Killer. Potter McPot, come on camera. I was going to say the time between Potter and Philo is down to a 10th. Philo gets that Lexus sideways through there. Manages to gather it back up, but that's put him out of contention for second place at the minute. It's put him under a little bit of threat from Philo. He's managed to get, from Gecko. He's managed to get that gap down to 1.1 seconds, but we are coming up to the last couple of corners. Ace Killer comes round that final corner. He has taken the final race of the championship here then. There we go, slowly across the line, 7.4 second lead. Potter is going to take second. Two great results from him tonight, first and second. Philo takes third. Gecko takes fourth. Brinky, are you going to take fifth? Brinky with the fastest lap of the race, 2:16.1 at the minute. He takes fifth. Oni Kaijin takes sixth. Van Nichols through Blanchimont, bothered about race track lines anymore. Final lap the chicane, 21 seconds adrift from Oni Kaijin, and giving us a wiggle as he comes up to the line as well. Thank you everybody for and a little bit of backwards reversing across the line for Fat Pickles. DIA 3SP Mark comes home for 8th then, doesn't get the fastest lap unfortunately. That stays with Brinky for the time being. Just wait on Ridders and Frosty. Ridders tyres are absolutely done. Another great big handbrake across the line for 9th. We might not even get to see Frosty. He's 51 seconds down. Lobby might reset itself before he gets across the line. So Ace Killer taking the final race here tonight then. And I better get myself into this jibbity job. Have a look. Link, that's what we want. Give me points. Philo is, I think, should be in the process of updating them. I hope he is. We did get to see almost got to see on Frosty to cross the line before the race finished. There it is. Win on the table again for Ace Killer. Again, that Nissan just seemed to find its legs at the end of this season. Not sure whether it was a setup change or a stand-in driver or something like that. I don't know. But another great championship. Let's just wait and see if we're getting points. Come on, that's what I... Oi. Okay, so they've not changed at the minute. Still Gecko with 366 points. Refresh. How do I do that? Can I do that from here? I can report abuse. Don't need to do that though. Come on, Philo. No problem, gentlemen. No problem. A few people just giving me a few thanks for doing the comms this season. No problem at all. Right, let me come out. Go back in. Still 366. Let me just try and... Oh, that's not what I was meant to do. Let's just make sure Philo's going to do the points. Are you... What do I want? No, not that. Still 366. Philo. It's Philo that does the points, so he might end up giving himself like 1,000,000 points or something. Maybe a bit, you know, like Jeremy Clarkson kind of does. I know Gecko won. I know Gecko won. You don't, you know, don't have to throw that in the chat. I know Gecko won. Let's find out where everyone else came though. Still 366 points. But yes, championship over. Well, again, we're just waiting on final points. If Philo's doing them, of course. Still the same. Big shout out to Savage Many Numbers. Just before the championship ends. Mr. Lucky Bucky, how you doing, brother? Are we seeing you Sunday? Are we seeing you Sunday? Huh? Come on, Philo. Give us the points. Just keep closing it down and reopening it, hoping to see new numbers. No new numbers. Nice one, Lucky. Nice one, buddy. Appreciated, my friend. All done and dusted. Where did you end up in the championship, brother? Yes, yes, and yes. I'll be there Sunday. Awesome, awesome. So we're all going go-karting on Sunday. Bosh, bosh. That's where we're going. We're going PFI. If you know what it is, it's Paul Fletcher International. It's wicked, wicked track. Massive track. Awesome karts. Great people who run it. But yeah, the track. Oh, something special. Let's try closing it again, and come on, Philo. I know you're on holiday in America, but you know you decided to race. Still 366 points. Not staying on here for too much longer. It's 10:30, people. Fourth, just waiting for results. Nice result. Should be a hot sunny day as well. Yeah. Luckily for you lot, if you've never been to this circuit before, the pits is actually underneath the building. So the circuit's flat apart from the bridge bit and the tunnel bit at one end. And then as you come in the pits, you drive underneath the building, so it's fully waterproofed if it was raining, or you're fully, you know, undercover if it's beaming hot sunshine. Not that you can't go and view the race and stand around the course and stuff, but you know, you've got to be ready for action, ain't you? But yeah, it should be good. It should be a good day out, my friend. Like I say, if you've not been before, PFI is it's an awesome, awesome track. Philo, you've got like about 43.5 seconds before I ditch this stream off and decide that you're not playing ball. oh, that's not Spa. There we go. That's more like it. Well, if they're going to mess about on Nords. What? Let me in the damn room. We're still waiting for lobby settings to come and happen or something. Why would it? Interesting. Right. One more look at the points then. If they're there, they're there. If they're not, going home. I'm kind of already home, but you know what I mean. He's not changed them. Still says 366 points for Gecko. So he has won the championship. He had won the championship after race 1 anyway. Had Gecko. Philo not getting the best result. He came in 6th, so wasn't able to push for the championship in the final race, unfortunately. It'd be interesting to find out. This is why I want the points, because I wanted to know what happened between Philo and Potter McPot. Because that was close as well with the different results. For Potter getting the win, Philo coming 6th. And then the punch up for race 2 might have brought them properly close together. But have you got any XL shirts? I'll have a look, Bookie. I'll have a look. I don't think I've got any XLs, unfortunately. What you might have to do is start eating salads, bro. Lay off the alcohol, bro. And then I'll get you large. No, it's not letting me into this lobby. It doesn't look like it's letting anyone else in either, though. Look, they're kind of... Unless that's just me and my lobby, I don't know. Alright, one very last attempt then, because that's the kind of guy I am. But this is properly the last one now. Not messing about, Philo. If you're not playing games, I'm not playing. No, that's it. Sod you all. But it is Gecko that takes the championship. And a good season it was too. Again, the fight between Gecko, Potter, Philo, Oni, Mart, Ace Killer throughout the season has been pretty tight. Mart unfortunately has had 1 or 2 incidents and not been able to sort of stay in the fight for the championship, unfortunately. Yes, nice one, Bucky. I will catch you on Sunday. Enjoy. You know, you've got to be there before 1 or pretty much around 1 o'clock because we've got safety briefs and all that nonsense to go through. So get there before 1. We can all have a chat and a bit of bants and take the mick out of each other, can't we? Oh yeah, car's being chosen now. Got maniacs out on circuit, look. Got Potter. Potter's out in a truck. Okay, so that is going to be it from me tonight. The championship is done. You can't listen to that knacker. That's it's exploding my earlobes. Yeah, that's going to be it from me tonight. Gecko takes the championship. Another good championship it is, has been as well. Again, big shout out to all the drivers in both lobbies. Big shout out to the lobby hosts, the admins, all the guys who've been in the practice lobbies and setting it all up. Big shout out to the sponsors, Team Oliver Racing, the Truck Racing Legends. Get yourself over there and on Facebook, click all the like buttons, MRC, Team Oliver Racing, all that sort of stuff. But most of all, I hope you like what you've watched. If you have, make sure you stick around for next season. Like, subscribe, all that sort of stuff. Share it out. But most of all, tell your mates. Tell your mums. My name's Doc Smoker. I'm out of here.